Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy and I share videos on the topic of long COVID, chronic fatigue syndrome and mind-body approaches that can help with those conditions and other mind-body conditions. I also offer coaching for people who are interested in applying this approach to their recovery. So today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about the number one question that is important for you to ask yourself on a regular basis or every day during recovery. I'm not a medical professional. This isn't medical or mental health advice. I'm just sharing things that have really helped me during my recovery journey and what I've learned from reading about the mind-body approach and also through other people's experiences overcoming challenges whilst using this approach. So the key question is, do I feel safe? There's a number of reasons to ask yourself this question. It can be really common for people experiencing chronic symptoms to feel unsafe, and that can be for many different reasons, and it might also be due to the fact that they're used to being in a state of feeling unsafe. Maybe that's a feeling they're really familiar with and they've had their whole lives. Understanding why that feeling is there can be helpful as well in terms of breaking the pattern. So this is really important to become aware of, because if every day on a regular basis you generally feel unsafe, then it's going to impact how your nervous system responds. That's going to impact your symptoms and how you feel and the confidence that you have in getting better and using this approach. You can ask yourself, why do I feel unsafe? And when we ask ourselves, why do I feel unsafe? There could be multiple different reasons. So it could be due to the symptoms themselves. Maybe you're wondering, how long is this going to last? Do I have all of the answers that I need? All of the tools that I need to get better? What if I get worse? So all of those concerns about your illness or about symptoms could be generating feelings of lack of safety. So it's not that we want to ignore those feelings or push aside those thoughts or sweep them under the rug. It's more so that acknowledging that those concerns are there and maybe those concerns are normal is important, so that you're not believing those thoughts all of the time and you're able to consider what's going to make you feel a bit safer in this situation despite having some of those concerns and some of those thoughts. So it might be imagining that part of you is feeling unsafe, but another part of you, or the self within you, that has a grounded, compassionate, trusting energy is able to reassure this part that feels less safe. And that's something that you could work on a regular basis, allowing the part that doesn't feel safe to experience what it's experiencing, but also getting some distance from that part and realizing that this is just one part of me. It's not the whole of me. And that within myself, I can establish feelings of trust, feelings of comfort, and feelings of safety. And practicing that will help the nervous system relax and calm down. If you are constantly hyper-vigilant about what you can and can't do, it mightn't be that you feel unsafe all of the time, but it might be that you're giving your brain messages that in certain circumstances you might be unsafe. And even just that message alone is saying that safety is circumstantial. Safety is not a given, depending on what you do, what you don't do, what you eat, what you don't eat, what triggers you expose yourself to and what triggers you don't expose yourself to. So keeping an eye on the impact that some of these ideas or thoughts might have regarding how safe you can feel in yourself. Another question to ask yourself is, am I used to feeling unsafe? So for some people, the feeling of being unsafe came on when they developed these symptoms and perhaps when they were given a diagnosis of having an incurable unexplained health condition. That is enough to make anyone feel unsafe, insecure, uncertain about the future, and worried. And that can create this cycle of feeling unsafe, of feeling unsure of what's going to help. Being stuck in the uncertainty of the situation fuels feelings of fear, concern, doubt that take us away from feelings of safety that will help the nervous system regulate. But also, for some people, they grew up in an environment where they never really felt safe. And it mightn't have been the case that they were physically unsafe. So maybe they were never abused, they were never severely neglected or deprived of basic needs. But they may have felt unsafe because their emotions were not seen by the adults around them, or that they needed to act in a certain way and to conform with people in order to maintain relationships. So conforming and not being able to be yourself, be your authentic self as a child, or taking on a role as a child, like the caregiver, the achiever, the child that always does well in everything and pleases others. Those traits that we might take on as children are messages in some way that it's not okay to be ourselves. And even on a very subconscious level, that can be giving ourselves messages of not feeling safe because we have to shift shape to get our needs met, or we maybe are not being seen for who we really are, and then to be who we really are feels unsafe. If also we've been raised where there was no co-regulation of emotions, where no one was able to help us deal with emotions as a child or allow us to accept that emotions are something that we can comfort and be with, we might have developed a relationship with our own emotions where it doesn't feel safe to feel our own emotions. And therefore, throughout life, this can carry on as a feeling of not feeling safe, because naturally humans have emotions, and if we can't be with our emotions and feel safe with our emotions, we might constantly be in a state of trying to avoid how we feel and avoid being with ourselves, being alone, being in silence. And we might struggle with self-reflection. We might struggle with being unwell because all the distractions have been taken away. Understanding where this feeling of not being safe has come from can help us just understand that we might have day-to-day patterns that fuel our sense of feeling unsafe, and that we might actually feel more comfortable in some way in a state of not feeling safe because that's what we're used to. So rather than that being something that is really relaxing and enjoyable, it might be familiar. And because it's familiar, we tend to maybe choose situations where we don't feel fully safe, or we tend to worry constantly because that state is something that we are used to. And because of this, it's harder for us to notice. So the reason I think this question is really important to ask yourself on a regular basis is because it's really invasive, this feeling of not feeling 100% safe. If you're used to that feeling, it comes in many ways throughout your day, throughout things you do, throughout relationships. So reflecting on it on a regular basis is important. Also, when it comes to figuring out recovery, figuring out what's going to help, knowing what to do on a day-to-day basis, a lack of safety and trust in the process will put us in this fix-it mentality. And being in a fix-it mentality is giving ourselves the message that we don't have the answers, we don't know what's wrong, and we need something external to feel better. So it's really common that when we feel unsafe in ourselves and in our body, we want to find a solution externally because we're not used to learning to feel safe internally with our own resources. So if you notice that you are generally feeling unsafe on a day-to-day basis, whether that's impacted from your past and your childhood, or whether it's just related to being unwell at the moment and having a lot of symptoms, it can be really helpful to think about what resources you have within yourself to generate those feelings of safety. So rather than finding different things and searching online and trying to figure out how do I regulate my nervous system, how do I feel safe, of course those things can be helpful and they may be a good starting point, but also that can become a cycle of generating a feeling of lack of safety in itself. I can give a few quick tips on how to generate feelings of safety within your body yourself. One is noticing positive sensations in the body. So if you sit or lie down for 2 to 5 minutes and pay attention to what feels good in your body, what feels relaxing, what feels nurturing, that can be a good way of generating a feeling of safety. Another way is just simply by observing and noticing that you don't feel safe and thinking about what does make you feel relaxed and make you feel accepting of your situation. That might be deciding to make yourself feel cozy for the day and listening to music that you find relaxing and enjoyable, or saying to yourself, what I feel right now is not harmful, that maybe my body is giving me these symptoms for a reason. Maybe there's a message behind these symptoms that I need to pay attention to, and maybe they are not something that I need to be concerned about. I actually found myself in this situation really recently where I had a bad headache. I was feeling anxious about it. I wasn't feeling safe. I was thinking about the things that I needed to get done in the day. And if I was to ask myself the question, do I feel safe? The answer would have been no, because I felt there was a problem to solve. And so I initially started looking for external solutions. I thought about getting a massage because I thought that my muscles were tense, and that was one of the reasons for my headache. And then I realized what was happening, that I was looking for an external solution for a symptom, and I wanted a quick fix. I just wanted someone else to do the problem solving to fix the symptom so that I could carry on. By realizing this, it was something I already knew, but I needed the reminder that I could generate a feeling of regulation and safety within myself, and that I didn't need to run from the symptom. I didn't need to try and fix the symptom, that I could allow myself to go easier on myself, be more self-compassionate during the day, and listen to music that I find quite relaxing and easy, that I would still do the things I'd planned to do, but in a relaxed way where I wasn't putting any time pressure on myself. And so by the end of the day, my headache had gone, and it was a really nice reminder that I can develop senses and feelings of safety within myself. And it doesn't need to be really complicated and really challenging to do. Nervous system regulation exercises can be really helpful, but also bringing an attentive, calm, understanding, compassionate energy towards ourselves can generate a feeling of safety. And this is something that can take time to work on and time to develop, but the first really important key part is just noticing if there's a lack of safety. Because if you don't notice that, if you miss that, and that's something that happens on a day-to-day basis, then it's something that could be really helpful to think about and work on and develop some of the resources within yourself that'll allow you to feel more safe and okay. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram or join my Facebook group, there's a link in the description below. If you think that you would benefit from coaching and learning some of the skills that can help you overcome challenges when using a mind-body approach for these mind-body conditions, I offer coaching, and there's a link to my website in the description below, and a link to booking a call with me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.